Hey, listen to Wrestling Roundup on FreeFM, ArrowFM, and MP. As always, I'm Grady, and live on Skype we got Josh.
Hey.
Hell in a Cell, after initially being November 1st, is this weekend, or this Monday, if you live in New Zealand, and that means that we're going to have to run down the card that we have for this really awesome pay-per-view. All 4 matches of it, but do not fear, we will talk about a bunch of extra stuff that's also happened this week and speculate going forward where everything might line up. But we are going to start with the Hell in a Cell matches that are booked in pen, in inked down. The first of which is going to be Jeff Hardy versus Elias.
Elias hasn't forgotten. He got hit by a car, and it was Jeff's car, and all the stuff that dealt with the Jeff Hardy versus Sheamus feud. Coming full circle here.
Yeah, it obviously brand switch sort of allowed this piece to happen again, and Elias makes his return. He tries doing a little bit of a concert, and it seems as though this guy's going to be on what I imagine is a fairly short-term collision course.
Yeah, there's directions here. It's just you've got to get Elias back over as a heel again, because of course we do.
He was doing so well. I think so much of Elias's gimmick in terms of the live performances and whether it's cheap heat or cheap pops, it's real easy to switch between the two, but so much of that relies on like a live crowd. As much as you can pipe it in and with audio and do whatever you want to do, there's still nothing like everybody screaming out "Walk with Elias," singing along, booing him, getting nuclear levels. Elias really works a live crowd well.
Yeah, that's definitely one of his strengths. But I worry that we're starting to get into the Big Show territory where they don't really know what to do with him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, one week he comes out, he's a good guy, and we're all meant to cheer him, and the next week, like, we didn't really have any plans for you as a good guy, you're going back to being a bad guy. And we just flip you back the other way and repeat that a couple hundred times.
Yep.
It's not really a good sign.
But yeah, he started this feud off with a bang, literally, by smashing his guitar across the back of Jeff Hardy during a triple threat match.
Every good feud starts off with a guitar smash. But yeah, overall, it's a pretty quickly put together match between the two. Who do you think's gonna walk out with the victory this weekend?
I would have to believe it would be Elias. He's the guy that just came back, and they have to establish. And Jeff's the kind of guy that can take more than a few losses, and it really not hurt.
Yeah, I think you're right. Elias coming back. He's hot. He's running for it. It would take all the momentum out of his sails to pick up a loss here to Jeff Hardy. Match number 2 of the 4 confirmed matches we have for the card. The next 3 are all Hell in a Cell matches, but this one is more about the SmackDown Women's Championship. Been a long story between these two, Bayley and Sasha Banks. Long. And it's, I don't want to say coming to a head, but they do have a collision set for the Cell this weekend.
Yeah, this is long-term booking to a near extreme. The thing is that they're still shrouded whether or not it's actually going to happen. Because remember, Bayley did not sign the contract last week.
It's true.
So the question is, can Sasha do something to make Bayley sign that contract on SmackDown? Obviously, since this is recorded beforehand, we'll know shortly whether or not that actually occurred and what it was that caused Bayley to sign the contract. My guess is probably a bank statement.
Yeah. Some creative liberties, thanks to the recording time of the show, do have to be taken around this pay-per-view. Not typically this many creative liberties, but some of them. I think if these two are to go head to head inside the cell, I don't think it's their final destination. I think they're still building more and more and more. As much as I'd like the Hell in a Cell structure to be kept for those big blow off matches, this one's definitely personal enough to require it, but I don't think it's their final stop.
So what do you think? Somebody debuts on during the Hell in a Cell match and helps Bayley?
What are you hinting at?
I'm just spitballing right now.
Okay.
Somebody
okay.
that got drafted to SmackDown maybe shows up during the match to help Bayley, and that gives Sasha a reason to continue with the feud. And then a couple months down the road, she wins the Rumble and gets her moment at WrestleMania.
Yeah, a lot of my plans for this feud were slightly scuppered by the fact that they remained on the same brand, and how I could see that this plays out, because now we've got, what, 6 months, obviously there's a Royal Rumble in the middle there, but we've got about 6 months till WrestleMania, and if that's our final destination, if that's where we're heading for the big match, then that's a lot of time. I could potentially see where they go down the path of, like, Sasha Banks gets no more chances kind of match, and then she wins the Rumble, and sort of like, oh, loophole. But yeah, I don't know how this feud, if it is going to, how it extends out 6 more months, really. That's a lot of time to fill, a lot of content week to week to week.
Yeah, we haven't even seen everybody in the SmackDown division yet on SmackDown yet. So there is very much a possibility that they may do that to extend the feud out. However, I will say this. If there is an outcome that is clean, Sasha Banks is walking away with the title.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm almost at 50% on that. I'm thinking it will likely be a dirty finish, and Bayley will somehow, some way, escape with her championship, maybe with a new bodyguard or something.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't
Yeah.
Tamina get drafted to SmackDown?
I think so. I'm not entirely sure.
Well, I hate the typecaster, but that's what she's been for the last 15 years.
Oof.
A bodyguard.
Oof. There are definitely options, and as you say, something has to extend this feud. And whether that's a Sasha clean win, whether that's a debut, a return, something, we're going to be pushing past this. And we'll have to wait and see what happens between the two of them. Changing tack a little bit, leaving Hell in a Cell on the shelf to jump over to the Gold brand, now NXT. Stuff heating up mere hours ago. We got ourselves some new champions and continue to develop what seems like, for the most part, one of the headline feuds or the headline storylines across NXT TV at the moment.
Yeah. I think they probably accelerated the storyline more than they probably wanted to due to the injury to Ridge Holland.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so...
But yeah...
We had this...
Yeah,
You go, Josh.
Alright. So on the show, last week, we mentioned that it was going to be the Undisputed Era versus Breezango for the titles.
Mm-hmm.
Well, during the show, mysteriously first, Bobby Fish got attacked. So Kyle O'Reilly was going to step in because Adam Cole was mysteriously not in the building. He was, you know the South Park episode, Halloween episode, where Stan had to go around as an iPad?
Vaguely.
That was Adam Cole. He was FaceTiming on an iPad.
Nice.
And then later on, Roger Strong got attacked. And the decision was made to put Birch and Lorcan in their place. And at the end of the show, thanks to little shenanigans with a low blow, Danny Burch and Orly Lorcan are your new tag team champions. And
Dun, dun,
then a gentleman jumps in the ring and starts celebrating with them. He's got a metal mask covering his face and wearing a hoodie. And as they celebrate, he eventually holds back the hoodie and removes the mask, and it's Pat McAfee.
Pat McAfee. That little scoundrel.
And he introduces the new tag team champions beside him and says that this is undisputed. So yeah, Pat came back, and he now has 2 hired goons who currently have gold.
I think Breezango are really unlucky in this storyline because other than the fact that they just lost the tag team titles to Birch and Lorcan, I think they're done. I don't think they're involved in this going forward. Maybe a rematch here or there, but like they're not on the headline storyline.
Yeah, it's definitely, I think, did take a major leap in where they were going. This could have been like a few weeks down the road had Ridge Holland not gotten hurt. Maybe because they took the beating so well, Pat may have respected them and bought them out the way he did Ridge. But yeah, it was
it's a weird one, right? Because we were discussing the Undisputed Era, and it seemed as though it was like, maybe Adam Cole's going to be a face on his own, Kyle O'Reilly's going to be a face, these guys are going to stick together as a tag team, and then it was like, oh, well, were Fish and Strong the ones who paid to have Adam Cole attacked, and as much as Pat McAfee makes complete and utter sense, I'm not saying it doesn't, it's like, okay, what are we doing from here? I have to imagine, had Ridge Holland not got hurt, that we'd potentially have a 4-man group standing in the ring there at the end, with McAfee, Holland, Lorcan and Birch against the 4 UE members. Don't quite know where that's even going to head, because it seems as though the Pat McAfee's crew, they were playing dirty, they were playing heel, and only 2 of the UE, I would say, have been playing face recently with Kyle and Adam. Strong and Fish have still been quite heelish. So I'm struggling a little there to see what the sort of collision point is going to look like for these 2 stables.
Yeah. Heck, it could even be, and this to me doesn't make any sense, but in the world of WWE, it just might. What if it's Kyle O'Reilly pulling the strings?
Hmm?
It could be why he wasn't attacked on NXT tonight. But
yeah,
I just have trouble believing that, because at the time Adam Cole was attacked, he was busy going to war with Finn Balor. He didn't have any kind of he was kind of preoccupied, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, he was a little busy. He had more important stuff on his mind.
So, I don't really know at this point, but I'm very interested. Because Pat McAfee definitely brings the interest. He brings a new dynamic. If we get another match like we got at TakeOver with him and involved in the storyline, all for it.
I'm trying to spin it up. I'm not spinning it up quick enough. What if I told you... Let me confirm. Okay, I'm confirming rapidly. Come on, rapid confirmation. Last page. Okay. NXT TakeOver War Games 2017, November 18th. 2018, November 17th. 2019, November 23rd. We're coming up to November.
I've heard they're not doing it this year.
Oh, well, I've researched for nothing. You made me throw my pen across the room.
I would be all for it. In fact, that was one of the things that I proposed a women's one, using Ember Moon and everything that's going around them, and Dakota Kai, who attacked Ember Moon, by the way, during during NXT. But yeah, but then I was told that there were rumors that they weren't going to do it this year. So I don't know.
Nobody
I
knows.
want one. I want it. Doesn't mean we're going to get it.
Well, this has been the longest intro to a song ever, I believe, on this show. At like almost 10 minutes of an intro to a song. But the song this week is our new NXT Tag Team Champions themes. So enjoy that. And when we come back, we'll talk about the other two matches on Hell in a Cell and maybe some extra stuff from Raw if we got some time. Wrestling Roundup on FreeFM, ArrowFM, and MPR. I'm Grady. He's Josh. Hell in a Cell. Which brand's world title do you want to talk about first?
Let's get the Undisputed Universal Championship out of the way, because that's pretty much the most straightforward.
Roman Reigns, Jey Uso 2.
Yeah. I do like that it's an I Quit match, which never occurred before in the Hell in a Cell. That is going to be very interesting to see how they play it off. This storyline has been on fire. On SmackDown last week, we had Roman Reigns versus Braun Strowman in Braun's farewell match to SmackDown.
Mm-hmm.
Roman proceeds to beat him, then beats him down with a chair, and says, if I'm willing to do this to him, imagine what I'm going to do to you, Jey. Jey comes down, he gets control of the chair, hits him a couple times, and then the referees take it away from him, but they wouldn't do anything to Roman.
Of course not. You're going to get near Roman?
Yeah.
You going to mess with the Tribal Chief? I'm not going to mess with Tribal Chief.
I wouldn't mess with Jey Uso swinging a chair either.
Yeah, that's entirely fair. I'm probably going to just stay as far back away as possible from them.
I think this is going to be a brutal match. I think there are strong chances that it ends up outside of Hell in a Cell at some point during the match. But I really think that this is going to be a spectacle. And I don't see how, after this feud, that they can put Jey Uso back in just a tag team and say, well, thank you for 2 months, but now it's time for you to go back to your tag team roots. That said, yeah. I think we all know that it's 1,000% that Roman Reigns is not going to say I quit.
Yeah, we've already got our winner of this match.
Yeah. Roman even broke out a submission move on SmackDown, which is how he beat Braun. He choked him out with a triangle choke. So, which feeds into this match. You've got to have a way to get Jey to say I quit. So now he has a submission move for his repertoire.
Yeah, and I think with Roman Reigns pretty much firmly locked in on the SmackDown side of things, retaining his title, let's talk about the match that I'm sure, once again, we are going to disagree on, because the WWE Championship is also inside a Hell in a Cell, and it will be Drew McIntyre defending against Randy Orton.
After the draft, though, and the alignments of everybody who switched brands, I'm actually leaning towards Drew retaining.
You're getting my hopes up.
Because now that I look at the rosters after the draft, I'm not sure how many people would be available for Randy to feud with. There are too many heels on Raw.
Don't tease me like this. You committing to more McIntyre?
Maybe for a month or two. I don't know. At this point, I've kind of just given up.
More McIntyre?
Or it could be the kiss of death for your boy.
No. Actually, can you keep picking against him? He wins when you pick against him.
That does explain what he won when I picked for him.
That's true. He just wins regardless of whatever you pick.
Yeah. At this point, I'm like 50-50. I believed for a while Orton was going to win as a crowning achievement for his amazing year, have his 14th title reign. But the landscape after the draft, I'm just not sure about it. But then the question then becomes, who can beat Drew McIntyre if Randy Orton can't?
Nobody. Forever champ.
And that's where the problem begins for me. Drew's had a great run as WWE champion. At least as great as you can have in this era, in this situation. So if he wins here, cool. We'll see where they go. But this is clearly the end of the feud.
Yeah.
One way or another.
Oh, not one way or another. When Drew walks out with the title, it's the end of the feud.
Yeah, one way or the other, whoever walks out with the championship will be done with the other person.
We've said that before. We've said that a few times, and then they just do it again.
Well, to be fair, this is the match that is designed to end feuds.
Fingers crossed.
So, this is where it would have to end. They can't go any further than this. They can't. There's nowhere for them to go after this with Randy Orton and Drew McIntyre. It's got to end Sunday, one way or another. Regardless, so I'm going to pick Drew.
Yes.
Because I'm throwing my hands up. I don't know. At this point, I don't know what's going on.
I'm taking that as a win. We got quite a short amount of time left to go, maybe 4 minutes left. We talk about Drew McIntyre potentially winning.
Actually, I just thought of who could take the title from him.
Is it a member of the Raw roster? Is it who I'm about to segue to?
Of the Raw roster. Yes.
Probably.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll talk about the Raw big sort of stuff happening at the moment, and I'll just... Is it Retribution that's gonna take the title off him?
No.
Is it the Hurt Business that's going to take the title off of him?
No.
Is it the super scary undead thingy who's got so many friends and can hurt you really badly?
Yeah, it's the Fiend.
Yeah, it's the Fiend.
I am quite sad, though. WWE had a chance to make Retribution something legit. Something to be actually taken seriously. All they had to do was have them do something nobody else has been able to do. And that's beat down the Fiend. And the Fiend took three of the four out in 30 seconds. And the only reason he didn't take the fourth out is because one of your boys sacrificed himself to prevent it.
Yeah.
Retribution has pledged that they're not done with the Fiend, but they're done with the Fiend. They don't really want the Fiend. And another problem I had with that whole segment was it came off the heels of a 4-on-4 tag team match, the first match with Ali as the leader, and they lost because your boy tapped out.
Well, I'm sorry, okay? Not all my boys can be winners.
So, I give up on the Retribution. I don't care anymore.
Yeah, I definitely struggle to see where it's going to go from here. Obviously, they can try and salvage what they've done. It seemed as though, Hurt Business versus Retribution was where it was going. We had Survivor Series coming up where, this could be it. This could be where the big collision happens and Retribution can do something massive here. Bray Wyatt comes over, or the Fiend comes over, and that entire opening segment from the tag team match through to the beatdowns through to everything, it sacrificed everything just to show you what you already knew, which is the Fiend is a monster.
Yeah, it's like at this point, what's the point? You might as well do the 4-on-4 Survivor Series match. Not even go 5-on-5. Just 4-on-4. Have the Hurt Business win and Retribution disappear. Which, by the way, we found out that Ali was, in fact, the SmackDown hacker in a throwaway segment now, basically, because we don't care anymore.
It was a ditched angle, to be fair. But yeah, we do not know what is in the future. For these guys, we can only speculate and try and see how they can salvage what they've done. But that is going to have to be for a future episode because we are all out of time. It's been great talking to you, Josh.
Bye-bye.
You can visit our Facebook page, facebook.com/wrestling radio, or Twitter page, twitter.com/wrestling radio. And we'll see you next week with the results from Hell in a Cell and hopefully more than 4 matches.